9, I'm Susan Tran.
And I'm Chris Flanagan. Frustration and roadblocks as advocates and now members of Congress try to bring a Maryland man home from Central America. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen flew to El Salvador, trying to at least see and talk to Kilmar Abrego Garcia and ultimately get him freed from that notorious prison. Now, last month, Garcia was wrongly deported by the Trump administration. A court has ordered his return. But so far, the White House and El Salvador's president have not made any effort to do so. Van Hollen says he spoke to El Salvador's vice president, asking him why Garcia is still being held.
His answer was that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador, the government of El Salvador, to keep him at CCOT.
Senator Van Hollen asking Salvadoran officials to meet with Abrego Garcia, but was told they would need more time to arrange that.
Meanwhile, dozens of Marylanders rallying in support of Senator Van Hollen. DC News Now's Max Marcilla joining us live tonight outside the U.S. Capitol.
And Max, the senator met with the country's vice president. Did he gain anything from this trip?
Well, one of the things he gained was, unfortunately for him, some of the same answers that the American people got last week when El Salvador President Nayib Bukele came to the White House. Those answers this time given from the vice president to Senator Van Hollen were some of what you just heard there. But even still, some advocates in the senator's home state of Maryland say that his efforts and his travel is appreciated. Thousands of miles away from El Salvador, Marylanders applauding their Senator Chris Van Hollen. He's visiting El Salvador, pushing for answers on why Kilmar Abrego Garcia is still in this notorious prison after the Trump administration admits he was mistakenly deported.
I'm not asking him to smuggle Mr. Abrego Garcia into the United States. I'm simply asking him to open the door of CCOT and let this innocent man walk out.
I really applaud and want to highlight the strong leadership exemplified by our Senator Van Hollen.
At this Silver Spring rally, both verbal and actual signs of support for Maryland's senior senator, that despite frustrations that his efforts to see or at least speak with Abrego Garcia were denied.
It is important for the senator to have access to Mr. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, to put his eyes on him, to make sure that he's okay.
For their part, the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security says in part, Van Hollen has done more to bring an MS-13 gang member back to Maryland than he has to help keep his American constituents safe. Nayib Bukele, president of El Salvador, said in the White House he won't release Abrego Garcia. Meanwhile, Abrego Garcia's deportation is playing out in court with the Supreme Court ruling the government has to facilitate his return and a federal judge questioning the Trump administration about why it has not done so. And as for Senator Van Hollen's trip down to El Salvador, he did say that he believes other members of Congress will go down to El Salvador to continue advocating on this issue. Tonight, DC News Now has reached out to every member of Maryland's congressional delegation to see if they would travel to El Salvador. We have so far not yet heard back. Reporting live at the Capitol, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
All right, Max, thank you.